It's been a week. It has been a week and it has been a while. And it's been a while. I gotta do it. Since I have had to deal with some bullshit. Bed bugs, they suck. If you have them, which I didn't, but I may as well have had them with everything that I went through over the past week. Now, if I was truly properly storytelling, I would have withheld the fact that I didn't have bed bugs until the very end. But every time I do that, there's some wise guy in the comments that's like, spoiler alert, he didn't have bed bugs, you're welcome. Or, video starts at 10 minutes and 52 seconds, you're welcome. Or, yet another case in 2025 where a modern YouTuber is using clickbait to draw in his audience and not really be truthful in his title and thumbnail. Scammer! All right, it is far too early for any of this. It's 8:52 a.m. Let's talk about bed bugs. Let's talk about nope. It is really hard to keep this focused on just bed bugs because that is half of what happened last week. I also had a squatter. Yeah, it was like a whole thing, or I don't even want to get into it. But if you like this video and you're interested in a follow-up about the squatter, just let me know in the comments below and I'll probably make it. Hey, really fast. When I made this video, I didn't have all the information present because I was going through all of it in real time, but some interesting things have happened since putting this video together, so stick around until the very end and I'll give you all of the juicy updates. Okay. Back to the video. So I was hanging out on a Tuesday, minding my own business. As a matter of fact, I was at my Airbnb because this was during the Houston freeze and I was actually traveling around to my Airbnbs in town, wrapping pipes, turning on the faucets to make sure that they're dripping. So I already had an eye on the property. Also, my cleaner had just cleaned the property. So really I'm just painting the picture to make it clear that there were eyes on the property. Usually I go in and check my cleaner's work if I happen to be there after she cleans. I tuck in sheets. I just gotta make sure that pillows are chopped and then I find any hair that's on the floor and I grab it with my finger and then, I kind of stick it in my pocket just like most hosts do. You should never, by the way, look inside of my pockets after I go to one of my Airbnbs.
Brother,
And then that's it. I left and everything was going well until I get a message from my previous Airbnb guest who checked out, mind you, on Monday morning. So about a day and a half before I was there. And she sent me, which is really just the most heartwarming message that I've ever received as an Airbnb host in my life. Robert, you have bed bugs. We are all covered in bites. That is like the worst thing you can hear as an Airbnb host. Now remember, I get every message and I have an active hold of my portfolio, but I have an assistant/property manager that helps me run the day-to-day. She chimes in immediately and says, hi, first of all, I'm very sorry that you're dealing with bites. We take the topic incredibly seriously. Do you happen to have any photos that you feel comfortable sharing of the bites? And then the guest sent about 5 photos and I'll just do one right here. You don't really need to see the other ones. They all pretty much look like this or variations of this. And truthfully, they look legit, like legit enough for us to start freaking out. And then she said, I'm waiting on the others. We are all covered. So Brenna, of course, texts me and says, hey, you might have bed bugs. And I'm just like, oh, I'm never gonna financially recover from this. And I was like, all right, well, I was just there. My cleaner was just there and didn't see anything, but we weren't looking for bed bugs specifically, although they are fairly obvious when you have them. I rush over super fast because I live 2 minutes away. I mean, I look and I didn't see anything, but truthfully, I didn't turn over every bed. I didn't rip apart the sheets. So I leave, but I feel like relatively not vindicated, but assured that everything is okay. And also we have zipper mattress protectors on the mattress, and that's kind of like the biggest deterrent that you can have for bed bugs. But kind of doing a little bit of research about bed bugs, they can spread in many places that aren't a bed. They can spread on airplanes, movie theaters, places like that. And this was a family traveling in. So really at this point, anything was fair game. So we let the guests know all of that. And it's a really, really nice message. But after we kind of state the facts, Brenna says, did you happen to go anywhere else today or yesterday where you might have gotten them? Like a movie theater, a hotel, an airplane? Is it possible that the bites are from something or somewhere else? Just trying to gather as much information as possible. And then within 1 minute, the guest says, no, we have not. You are not taking this seriously and you're trying to gaslight us. We will be moving this to Airbnb support. We all traveled home separately to separate houses. We are all covered. This is some huge BS from a company. You cannot see bed bugs. Google is free. They are microscopic and nocturnal. I'm more than happy to be seen at the doctor tomorrow. All of us are, and we'll be sending the invoices for our co-pays. And this is a Health and Human Services violation, so I'll be taking this to Harris County. The only way to check for bed bugs is to hire pest control to check. Also, we all slept in different rooms, so they are covering the Airbnb. They are not contained to one room. The girl who slept on the couch is even covered in bites. So truthfully, it's compelling to say the least. I'm like, well, I mean, for her to fire back practically instantly and be so frustrated and angry with us, And then to say that we're gaslighting, I'm like, dang, maybe I am gaslighting her. Is she gaslighting me? I don't know. Can I cancel her for that? I don't know anymore. Small wrinkle in this story. This is during the Houston freeze. It snowed. Everywhere is closed. There was snow in Houston, but it was enough to shut down the whole city. And we're talking like 6 inches, but it had already like melted mostly on the road. And like I went to Wells Fargo, it was closed. So I try to get a pest control company in. I call over 20 and they're all like, sorry, man, routes are closed. And I'm like, dude, they're acting like we're like in a legitimate blizzard, but doesn't matter. So the soonest I could get someone to come out was the next day. It was gonna cost me $126 to do that though. Now here's another lesson for you. Everyone else is free. So had I waited another day for everything to clear up, they would have just come out and inspected for bed bugs for free. Because the way that bed bug companies make their money, or like pest control companies, they make their money by hoping you have bed bugs and then they pitch you on the remedy. The remedy is typically $3,000. I've heard $3,000 to $5,000. So most people are happy to do it for free because they're like, please, lucky number bed bugs, yes! And I was like, you know what, I want the first person to come out here, I want them to inspect, I don't care what it costs. $126 plus $700, no big deal. Ooh, Airbnb booking, nice, $5,600. Gotta love it. It's time now to go back to my guest that has the bed bugs and just explain to her the course of action that we've taken. She said we weren't taking it seriously, so I had to kind of get back to her. So here's what I said. This is like about 2 hours after she sent all the photos and stuff. I said, hey, Rob here. I am sorry about the delay. I met with my property manager so that we could make sure to dissect the situation properly. First and foremost, I am definitely sorry if you felt we were gaslighting you. I promise that's not our intention. And you are right to be upset and frustrated with us. From our view, we genuinely wanted to gather as much information as possible. And I know you'd like to escalate things with Airbnb, and that's fair. We are happy to work through that process with Airbnb. We canceled today's reservation and have a pest control company coming in to inspect as well. I promise this is something we take incredibly serious as it impacts everything in my operation, but please know we are moving pretty swiftly over here. So I kind of find in these situations, just by the way, like kill them with kindness. Like if you genuinely are being a good host and a good person, like I do think that tends to shut down people who are just like coming at you. And she said, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that a lot. And I said, yes, of course. I promise we're good hosts over here and just trying to get this fixed and addressed ASAP. So it's really hard for me to consider her side. But if they're really going through this, then it is fair that she'd be upset. And I think we failed by maybe just not being sensitive to this. And it's kind of a fine line because we didn't want to say, I'm so sorry you have bed bugs, because then that incriminates us, right? That kind of gets us to admit that it's true. And I can kind of see how she thought maybe we're being accusatory or just trying to, I don't know, put the blame on something else. So I don't know, it's just hard. I don't know, it's genuinely hard. We obviously messed up somehow if she was genuinely upset by not being more apologetic. I think we probably could have apologized a little bit more and sent that message, and I probably could have called her and tried to de-escalate the situation there. I am a really big believer in the Airbnb world and hospitality, that one phone call can squash most things. Now, in this case, I didn't want to do that because it's such a big deal, bed bugs, that I kind of felt like we needed that paper trail, but I think I could have sent this message and then called her and then sent her a recap of that call, but I didn't because I was moving swiftly. On top of that, this was actually like one of the busiest days I've had in a long time. I had like 6 meetings that day, and I was like going to those meetings, getting off early, leaving early, making phone calls, going to the house. And honestly, I was like pretty proud of myself for how I was handling this. So fast forward a little bit, house is empty, and I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do a thorough inspection. She said that I had bed bugs on the couch, in my accent chairs, in my bed, and so I literally rip apart all the sheets. I take all the sheets off and I go to the mattress protector. I lift everything up. I'm looking and I find nothing. I literally rip apart the entire house, and doing some research, bed bugs, you can see them. They're like little rust-colored bugs. Like if you didn't see them,
but I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
They're like a pretty clear thing. And if my house was as infested as she said, I would have been able to see so many. I mean, I saw like the occasional piece of lint on stuff and I was like, oh, but it was just lint. Like literally, that's all I found. Fast forward to the next day, pest control company comes out. It was Orkin, by the way, and I was a little skeptical because Orkin's kind of like the big guys, but they were great. The guy was super informative, does a whole thorough inspection for me. Not a single bed bug. He's like, dude, he kind of knew instantly. He's like, dude, you don't have bed bugs. He's like, they're nowhere. He saw that I took off all the sheets. He did everything. He looked behind headboards. He looked under the mattress. He's like, you don't have them. He's like, it would just be so clear if you did. And I was like, yeah, well, the guest said that they're microscopic and nocturnal. He goes, no, they're not. They're not microscopic. They're literal bugs that you can see. But I had him and he was a really friendly guy. And I was like, dude, will you do me a favor? Can I call my guest and have you just tell her everything you just told me? He goes, absolutely. So I sent my guest a message. I said, can I call you with my pest control company so that you can see? And she never responded. So here's where we netted out. My worst fear came true, and my guest left me a 1-star review. She said I had bed bugs and berated me in the review and all this stuff. And I was very scared that this was gonna kill all of my momentum and cause me to not get any bookings. But actually things turned out okay and I ended up filling my calendar. I left her a review, very factual. I stated exactly what happened in the order it happened, no emotions, because I didn't want her to remove my review, but she escalated it up to Airbnb, got my review removed. I, of course, wanted her review removed off of my profile, so I escalated it up to Airbnb, and they denied me. So here's the important lesson. Most hosts would take that resolution and complain about it and move on with their life, but you can actually go and start a whole nother support ticket with a different Airbnb support specialist, which is exactly what I did. I showed them the proof. I said that the review was retaliatory because in the review, she said that she asked me for a refund and I didn't give her one. And I said, hey, she didn't get her way with the refund, so she's punishing me with a 1-star review. And lo and behold, Airbnb removed that review. So the lesson here is to keep pushing and keep fighting for what you think is right. And it is 100% worth the time and effort to go and start another support ticket, because at the end of the day, they have hundreds of support specialists out there. You never know who you're gonna get, what outcome you're gonna get. So don't be afraid to get in there and keep fighting. I hope this little update helps someone out there. So while all of this is happening, I post kind of the play-by-play on my Instagram. By the way, if you've never followed me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. I post when shit hits the fan, I am posting everything to Instagram and like my process and what I learned and what went wrong. So if you ever kind of want that sneak peek into my day-to-day life, I promise my Instagram is worth a follow. Here's kind of one of the things I learned. So I actually learned several things from doing this. A lot of people reached out. A lot of people went through similar things. I had directors of nationwide hotels that were giving me tips on where to look, and they're like, hey, make sure that you check under slats and behind bed boards. And they also said, by the way, if you don't see bed bugs, you don't have them. Like if you checked every single bed, there's no way you could miss them. And the third thing that I found out is that people have been scammed quite a bit in the world of bed bugs. There are plenty of scams going around where people will go travel to Airbnbs, say they have bed bugs, get a refund, and screw the host over. And this was surprisingly more common than I thought based on all the stories that I got. Apparently there was like a whole scam going around in a city where they had a bag of dead bed bugs and they kept putting them in Airbnbs. And then they eventually got caught because the same pest control company was like going to the Airbnbs and they figured out it was the same person reporting them. It was like a whole thing. And I was like, wow, I had never considered that that could actually happen to me. Now, for what it's worth, I don't think my guest was doing that, truthfully. I mean, they had 9 5-star reviews. They were super nice. During the freeze, I asked them to turn the faucets on. They're like, yep, we got you. Like, we had a generally good rapport for it being like a 2-night guest. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and just assume that they got their bites or their red welts from somewhere else. And by the way, I showed those photos to the pest control person. He's like, I mean, maybe that's a bed bug bite, but overall, none of these really look like bed bug bites. Apparently, bed bug bites have a very specific pattern, so you'd be able to see. Look up bed bug bite pattern and you'll kind of see what they look like. So I'm gonna wrap this up by telling you what you can do about bed bugs. Really, the best thing you can do is get a very good mattress protector. Now, there are 2 kinds of mattress protectors. There is one that's kind of like a fitted sheet that you put over your bed. The bottom of your mattress in this instance would still be exposed. You don't want this kind of mattress protector. You want the other kind of mattress protector. It's kind of like a bag where you actually put your mattress inside of it and then there's a zipper on it that you zip closed and doesn't allow air inside of it. And according to my pest control inspector, it is practically impossible for bed bugs to get inside of there. Now, for many years at some of my other properties, we do the double mattress protector method. And that's basically that zip insert that I told you about, and then that fitted sheet mattress protector over that. And that is the ultimate protection you can have because it just makes it really hard for bed bugs to get in there. I have kind of felt in the last couple of Airbnbs I launched that it was a bit unnecessary, but I did ask my pest control person about this. I said, hey, would you recommend me getting that fitted sheet mattress protector and putting it over the zipper one? And he was like, couldn't hurt, man. Honestly, if you do that, you're gonna make it harder for bed bugs to get to your mattress because they already can't chew through the zipper encasement. Encasement, that's what I meant, not insert, encasement. He's like, it's already hard for them to chew through that. So if you have another mattress protector over that, so it just kind of makes it even more super reinforced. And we failed because I broke my own protocol because SOP, my standard operating procedure for so many of my past Airbnbs is the double mattress protector method. On this Airbnb, I didn't have that. And of course, it didn't actually affect me because I didn't have bed bugs, but I've been scared enough by this situation where I'm just gonna do it. They're like $20 to $30 a piece on Amazon. I'll post a link in the description down below. But even though I didn't actually have bed bugs, I'm just like, you know what? If I can prevent this horror from actually happening at any of my properties, why wouldn't I? It's gonna cost me like an extra $100 and I can sleep better at night knowing that I have taken every step from allowing bed bugs at my property. On top of that, you can see bed bugs, but there is a chance that they could scurry off the top of your bed and go hide under your bed, in between your bed in a slat. And that is not something that I trained this cleaner to do, and I realized that in retrospect. She is a new cleaner to the Airbnb world, so I have been training her on just literally everything else and how to actually stage an Airbnb after cleaning. And I neglected that, and I neglected that piece of training. And so now I've kind of instructed her to like lift up the mattress, check under, and after she incorporates that into her routine, I'm also gonna have her pull the headboard back from the wall a little bit and check behind, because that's where bed bugs can also hide. I don't do that. I actually don't think any of my cleaners do that at any of my properties. And this was a very sobering failure of mine to realize that, man, maybe I am just not as dialed as I thought. Granted, I haven't actually ever dealt with bed bugs, so maybe what I'm doing is working, but I can very clearly see how my own systems and SOPs would fail me in the case of an actual bed bug infestation at so many of my other properties. So that's how I've approached my SOPs, standard operating procedures, and woo, it's been a doozy of a week. But luckily for you, I get the distinct honor of learning all of this the hard way, so that hopefully you can learn it the easy way. And honestly, the crazy thing is that this was just 50% of the drama. The other 50% was that I had a squatter situation at one of my properties, and if you want that video, let me know. I'll make it. Otherwise, if you love to see me struggle and be in pain, which most people do, and those are the most successful videos on my channel, you're gonna wanna check out this video that's called My Airbnb Hell Week and Everything That Went Wrong. And yeah, that week was a doozy too. So yeah, go check that out after, of course, you like and subscribe if you found value in this video, which I hope you did. Catch you on the next episode of Rob Belt. Bye.